Well, welcome again to Upon Further Review. This week is week number 7.
Can you believe it?
There you go. Ray Halbrook here from Live Stream STL. Thank you so much for being on Upon Further Review today as we take a look at our week 7 results. We will crown a player of the week, some honorable mentions, and talk about next week's week 8. Golly, we're almost done with the season, guys, already. It's been unbelievably crazy, but we've got a new guy in the middle, the new monkey in the middle this week here. Jeff was gone last week. Matt's gone this week. So we've got Scotty the Freak Lotta. How you doing, Scotty?
Doing good. I expect a little Night at the Roxbury to happen here at any moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, then we all got to do it together.
Yeah.
You know, there we go.
Smack them around a
There you
little
go. Who, me? Who, me? No, me?
bit.
No, me. Okay. It wasn't it. Okay. I thought you were going to do it with me. So
Before we get started, though, seriously, Scott,
you just completely cut away.
I'm just ignoring all of that.
I love
Scott,
it.
you do need to give a special shout out this week regarding your attire.
Yes.
My attire? Yeah. This is
You like your
this
bow
is
tie?
in honor of Professor of Coachonomics, Lee Richardson. It will be basketball season before we know it, and this outfit was made famous by that.
Made famous. There you go. There you have. There you are.
We told him tonight was a formal occasion.
We didn't, but he just came
I
that
didn't know
way
what the
anyway.
dress code was for this.
There you go. Let's get to our week 7 results without further ado. And upon further review, here they are. DeSoto 26, Hillsboro 20 on live stream STL. Grandview 33, Jefferson 30 on live stream STL2. We did not have a live stream STL3 game. Buzz through the rest of these games, these scores here real quick. Crystal City 52, Deschênes 6. Lafayette 35, Eureka 6, DeSmet 56, Festus 28, North County 36, Windsor 0, Herculaneum 37, Bayless 20, Lindbergh 35, Fox 28, Northwest 49, Hazelwood West 6, Seckman 49, Parkway South nothing, St. Pius X 56, Miller Career 6, Perryville 56, Saxony Lutheran 42, and rounding things out on Saturday, that game was a 41-26 win for St. Vincent over Ash Grove. And we are going to start with our Hillsboro DeSoto game here. And I'm going to kick this over here to Scott the Freak Lotta, who had the call.
This game, you saw it on paper and you were like, okay, DeSoto had not won against Hillsboro since 2018. So you're like, okay, this same script, this is just going to happen. But DeSoto had a plan. They came in. It wasn't anything fancy. They basically, you knew they were going to run the ball ad nauseum. And they did, and they just executed. And at no point during this game did DeSoto relinquish the lead, which was staggering. And it was like, this is at Hillsboro. This is their senior night. But it just felt like DeSoto, the moment wasn't too big for them. Credit Mr. Kisner and the whole ensemble. They did everything they needed to. Tebow, the running back, he was an excellent compliment. But I mean, it was great defensive, it was a great offensive show, and it was you just kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it just never did.
Scott, I tell you, I'm really impressed with the development and play of sophomore quarterback Cannon Kisner. In that game Friday night, he rushed 16 times for 158 yards, had 2 touchdowns rushing. He then threw for 50 yards with another TD as well. And you mentioned it on the air and before we went on tonight as well. The poise of that young man being a sophomore. I really think Coach Schmidt has found a quarterback. Obviously, he's been to develop and work with here, and then he's going to have him for 2 more seasons, hopefully, as well. But here again, and by the way, he also had 34 punts, averaged 39 yards a punt, which is pretty good in high school. Anytime you have a Coach Rush Schmidt scheming in a big game, you can never count him out. And I mentioned to this the other day, it's nice to know he still has some tricks up his sleeve, and he definitely has this year, and the way he's been able to come up with some really good game plans for his team to be successful. You really have to do a deep dive into figuring out what you have talent-wise and how to put them in a position to win. And if that means altering your schemes, altering your offense, altering your defense, then that's what you have to do. You have to have that versatility. You can't just be rigid into a certain style. And he's done a great job of that with this group, and they're really seeing the fruits of their labor.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at our second game here, the Grandview Jefferson game here. And it's just fitting that Scotty the Freak is with us here for this particular game. The only time in school history here that Grandview has beaten Jefferson. It happened this Friday, 33-30. Jeff was over at the game, so I'm going to start with Jeff here real quick on his thoughts about the game.
I thought we were going to skip over this one, guys. I didn't know we were going to do this out of here.
Oh,
Seriously, boy, you talk about celebration and pandemonium after that game on the Grandview side, knowing they'd finally, gone over that hump of winning that first game against the Blue Jays. The game itself kind of went like I thought it would, but it also kind of didn't go like I thought it would, fellas. If you looked at my preview last week, I really thought Grandview, this is their best chance ever to topple the Blue Jays, and of course they took care of business on the field. But you had a situation where I counted them from the booth in my position. There were at least 10 very significant mistakes that the Blue Jays made at offense, defense, and special teams, and it's not an excuse as far as why Grandview was able to win, because as well as I do, guys, in football, if another team makes a mistake, you have to capitalize on it. And Grandview did that all night long in spades. And Brennan Martin, the quarterback, excellent job of just managing the team, managing the offense. The triple option was worked. Wyatt Kime had a big game for him. The biggest thing is once they were able to get a lead, and you just start giving that ball to big Isaac Walker, and you let him just drag people down the field. And there were times where I saw 6, 7, 8 players on his back trying to bring him down. And not only is he gaining, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards a pop more, but he's eating that clock. He's just chewing it away. So they did a great job of managing all of those things. A big shout out to Coach Hanger for coming in with a game plan and an offense and running that triple option. They basically beat the Blue Jays at their own game, the offense that Jefferson used to run. So that even probably makes it sweeter for Grandview. But hats off to them. I don't know what else that people need to see this year, guys, to convince them that this Grandview Eagle team is for real.
So obviously, you kind of alluded to it, first ever in the history of this rivalry, Grandview notches a victory. 0-13 now, 1-13.
Correct.
And I, for the record, was asked why I was not allowed to do this game, and I was just told no. But I think there's a lot of parallels between the DeSoto program and the Grandview program. You're going to be run heavy. You're going to have a defensive physicality, but tip of the cap. I mean, you still got to go out there and play the game.
Jefferson threw 4 interceptions Friday night, and I know 3 of them for sure. Grandview was able to capitalize on those turnovers, just as they did the week before against Herculaneum, when Herculaneum outgained them in total yardage. Grandview was able to capitalize on those mistakes, and that's what great teams do.
Absolutely. There is an opportunity for another Grandview game that I will offer to you. However, it is on a Thursday night. So we'll have Thursday night coming up a couple weeks here. They're playing Crystal City at home.
All right.
And if you're available, we might have to make that happen.
We will make that happen.
All right. There you go. See, I'll find a way to redeem myself. There you go.
All right. You totally redeem yourself.
Totally redeem yourself. All right, here. Let's go through the rest of these games here real quick. Pick out a game or two that stuck out to you. We'll start with Jeff.
Well, Lafayette taking care of Eureka, giving Eureka their second loss of the season. And that game was at Eureka, and Lafayette just dominated that one from start to finish. They're still undefeated on the season. DeSmet Festus, we thought that would go the way it did, but Festus did show some good signs there against DeSmet, especially quarterback Parker Perry, 3 touchdown passes. The Lindbergh Fox game at Fox was up 21-7 in the first quarter and 28-21 at the half, and Lindbergh came back to win that game. Other than that, a few surprises on the list, guys. Really, maybe the North County Windsor game, just the fact that Windsor got shut out against North County team that had only had one victory prior, coming into that game. So not a whole lot there. Interesting fact about the Seckman game against Parkway South, they won 49-0. Seckman utilized 10 different rushers to amass 344 yards on the ground in that game.
Wow. And they were all pass happy first half of the season, and now all of a sudden, we're just going to run the ball now and get back to our running ways, and it paid off for this week.
I did want to mention real quick too in the Northwest game against winless Hazelwood West. Cohen Stark did his thing. He probably didn't play the whole game. He only had 7 rushes for 101 yards, 2 touchdowns, ho hum. But he did have a 96-yard touchdown.
Wow!
So I wanted to throw that out there too. Cohen Stark doing Cohen Stark things.
Yes, and they've got him for another year.
Right.
How about that, Scotty? Let's get to you here, and I'll kick this back up here for you.
The one I got to kind of point to is that Lindbergh Fox game. Just because Fox was at home, and I got to see Fox when they played Seckman, and that game that Fox played against Seckman, I'm not going to say they dominated, but they controlled the whole game, and they let that one slip away in the waning moments, so to speak. So to see them also have another large lead get away from them against Lindbergh, that's the one on this list that kind of jumps out at me like that's one they're probably kicking themselves just a little bit about.
I got it. There you go. There you are for week 7 results here. We'll be back with our player of the week.
Craving authentic Italian cuisine? Hi, this is Don Bollinger at the Pasta House Company in Festus. We're serving up happiness one plate at a time. From our made-to-order pasta dishes to our mouth-watering pizzas, everything is prepared with the finest ingredients. Try our fresh ground burgers, hearty lasagna, or our perfect appetizers. Happy hour every day with half-price pizzas, and kids eat free every Sunday. Visit us at pastahouse.com to order online or for delivery on Highway A and Pound Road, where it's always a great time.
It is time for our Upon Further Review Player of the Week. Thank you to the Pasta House. And we have our Player of the Week this week will be Rico Pastrana from the Crystal City Hornets. Rico, how you doing, my friend?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Man, you guys had a great game against Duchesne. And before I talk to you about that, I want to pull up your stats here real quick. The stats from last week were pretty impressive. They are as follows. You were 7 carries for 190 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. Pretty nice day at the office, I would imagine. And big win there. What was the final score there of that game against Duchesne?
I believe it was 52-6.
52-6.
Keep the shutout. Second team came in towards the second half, gave up 1 there, but we weren't too upset about that. We were happy that the offense, like you said, 52, can't complain. It's a pretty good game.
Yeah. Tell us your thoughts. I mean, anything to elaborate, like I said, you guys have been on a little bit of a roll here on a few of these games, and,
right.
Give us your thoughts of that game.
Right. So, I think just these past couple weeks, we've been, shooting ourselves in the foot. Offense was great the first 2 halves, and then just can't keep together for the third and fourth. So I think all this game was how fast can we, punch in the mouth, offense get it rolling, defense keep our backs, safe, whatever. And I think we did just that, like I said, offense, I think it was in first 2-3 plays, we scored a touchdown, 70 yards. Trailed pretty fast. Defense got a quick stop, and we just got rolling after that. So can't complain. Definitely a great game.
Excellent. Now you're a senior this year. Any thoughts about going to college somewhere?
Yes, sir. No, I'm looking towards some small areas, college, looking to play some ball, get up there, and we'll see what happens. Definitely looking to play football for as long as I can.
Excellent. Love that you're going to continue to pursue that. That's awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the Crystal City team this year. Last year you guys had a little bit of success. This year still seeing some more of that success, but it seems a little different. Tell me about what you think might be a little bit different.
So I think last year definitely we relied on just older guys, come in with a quarterback receiver duo that, would give us guaranteed 400 yards on the passing game, rushing game combined. I think now, we're looking to spread the ball, even though, there's still senior leadership, in our quarterback running backs. We still have some younger guys on the wings, especially our offensive line, a bunch of young guys, and then even the older guys are helping each other out. It looks like they're getting it together. And I think that's what started a slower start, but, you know, we had it getting together and now we're back. So I think we're definitely going to keep this ship rolling, go strong in the playoffs.
Excellent. Scotland County, is it Scotland County you got this week?
Yes, Scotland County.
Okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. What do you know about these guys, and what's the key to success this week?
Right. So, I mean, last year, we had a good start against them. I think it was just their name, them being farther from us. We also drove there, so had a little bit of lag for that. So I think there was many factors into that game last year that played into us, not having the best start that we wanted. So this year coming in strong, we're coming off a win. I mean, I think the team's going to feel very, uplifted, and going to have a good game plan coming into the first couple games or first couple practices. Sorry, and we'll just see how we go. I think it's going to be a good game. We're at home, so going to be a good turnout. I think.
Nothing like home cooking, right?
Yes, sir. No kidding.
There you go.
Love it.
Well, Rico, congratulations on being Player of the Week, and we'll see you down the road here.
Sounds good. Thank you. Take care.
Rico Pastrana from the Crystal City Hornets. It is time to take a look at our honorable mentions for this week, and we have 4 of them. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 this week. Grandview's Isaac Walker, 21 rushes, 162 yards, 10 tackles on defense. That's 2 weeks in a row for Isaac Walker. He's got to be knocking on that door for Player of the Week here sometime soon. We'll see how that fares in the upcoming weeks here. DeSoto's Cannon Kisner, we talked about him there in our live stream STL game of the week there. Only 2 for 4 for passing, 50 yards and a touchdown, but he had 16 rushes, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nice job at the office there for Cannon Kisner. St. Pius X's Cody Shaver. He had 21 rushes, 208 yards, 3 touchdowns, 10 tackles on defense as well. Parker Perry's from Festus also had 3 passing touchdowns against DeSmet, and that to me is a feat in itself because DeSmet is no slouch, and so I'm glad you mentioned that to me there, Jeff, about putting him on this list.
Well, it doesn't matter if it was a cleanup time versus their second string or their third string. A team like DeSmet, a CBC, some of these top teams, their second and third strings could beat most teams in the area. So the fact that he was able to put up 3 touchdown passes at any time during that game is pretty significant, Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Scotty, your thoughts?
And also just to throw on Kisner's line there, I believe he had a fumble recovery in the second half as well. So,
Yep.
But
We'll add that to the list there.
As far as Isaac Walker at Grandview, we know what he can do. It's hard we have to remember, I think it was after the second game last season, he was the starting center.
Wow.
And they changed, and for different reasons, they put him back at fullback and moved someone else to center. And ever since then, he has just been a big part of that offense. And quite frankly, folks, who doesn't like to see a big man rumble, right?
That's right.
With
That's
the ball.
Right. Hey, exactly. There you
what's
go.
that expression? A thick 6?
The thick 6.
Right.
I like it. Let's look at our honorable mentions. We'll be right back with week 8. After Friday Night Blitz, check out the Friday Night Blitz postgame at 10 p.m. Our Friday Night Blitz announcers will catch up with coaches from around the area and grab some postgame interviews to cap off another Friday night football frenzy. That's the Friday Night Blitz postgame show at 10 p.m. on live stream STL. Let's take a look at our Week 8 schedule. We have a triple header this week here on live stream STL. We will have the Farmington at Festus game. The live stream STL2 game will be Perryville at Herculaneum. And then our live stream STL3 game, a St. Pius X from Kansas City taking on St. Pius X at Festus. Yes, we are going to be covering a little St. Pius X action here. And we know that one of those St. Pius is going to win. Kind of like that Herky and Fredericktown game. We knew a Black Cat was going to win here, but St. Pius X from Kansas City, they are the Warriors, and St. Pius from Festus obviously is the Lancers. So Hazelwood West will be taking on Seckman in other games here. Parkway North is at Fox, Northwest at Parkway Central, Jefferson is at St. Genevieve, Grandview at St. Vincent, Chaminade is at Hillsboro, Potosi is at DeSoto, and Windsor is at Fredericktown. Let's take a look at these games here real quick on the live stream STL schedule. Farmington and Festus I think is going to be a pretty good game. Farmington's gained a lot of momentum the last few weeks here, and I think Festus got to find a way to redeem themselves from getting kind of little bump in the road there with this Met last week. But this will be a good test, I think, for the Festus Tigers.
It'll be very interesting to see how Coach O'Fadelaide utilizes his personnel in this week and the final game of the season. They have the district pretty well wrapped up in Class 4 District 1. So he can afford to rest some of his guys and go in, to the postseason fairly healthy. Mm-hmm. So it'll be very interesting to see how much guys play. And even though this game is an intriguing matchup on paper, Festus getting the nod at home, obviously, against Farmington. But Farmington, as you said, has come on. So it'll be very interesting to see, is this going to be a very highly competitive game, or how much effort are the Tigers and Coach O going to put into keeping his top flight first stringers out on the field?
Yeah. Is this going to have more of a jamboree kind of feel?
I wouldn't take it that far. I mean, you want to win, but at what cost?
Right. Definitely want to keep your kiddos healthy, and take that into districts, and you've still got 2 weeks before that happens too. So,
Scotty, I think the biggest game here, the three matchup, is the Perryville Herculaneum. I think these teams match up very well against one another.
I imagine this is going to be a physical, a slugfest, slobber knocker, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be a good old, brouhaha.
So what you're saying is the local CVS and Walgreens need to stock up on ice and bandages prior to the game?
100%. I mean, like I said, you're going to all the ice packs, all the pain relievers at the end. But at the end, it's a coin flip. I think either one of these teams, depending on who can, stay true and stay, the cleaner of the route, I think they'll come out on top.
You've got Carter Struck off, the big bruising running back / linebacker on one side. You have Barrett Wheeler, the big bruising running back / linebacker on the other side, and they are going to meet head on many times during this game. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. I want to give the nod to Herky just because they're at home in this game, but that's going to be a good one. And as far as St. Pius and St. Pius X, I don't know much about St. Pius X other than they're a pretty dominating team in the Kansas City area. All I know is it would be great if we get Elon Musk to sponsor this game,
and we get to broadcast the game on X.
On X, right? It would be X versus X,
and use Starlink to do it with.
Exactly.
And then maybe he'll give away a Tesla too after the game.
Be perfect.
That would be amazing. How about that?
And Santa, I've been good this year, so as long as we're wishing for stuff.
That's right.
No.
Those three games I think are going to be really good. Really, that Perryville Herculaneum game is really standing out. Grandview at St. Vincent. What do you think about that one, Scotty?
The homer in me says if Grandview can, withstand and stick to the plan, run the ball, do what they do, because like I said, I think, because going back to the St. Vincent's Herky game, Herky was able to run the ball, they were able to bruise them, and they were kind of, on defense, they were able to kind of disrupt them enough, and the passing game was just off where the passes were probably like 2-3 yards too much for St. Vincent's, and it came down to the running game, and St. Vincent's basically in the second half abandoned the running game. Granted, they were chasing, they were trailing,
right?
But I think if Grandview can somehow get a foothold, maybe get up early on them, maybe that could swing it in their favor.
It'll be really interesting. I think secondary play is going to be the biggest part of this game. The defensive secondaries for both teams, what they can do against the receiving cores of both St. Vincent and Herculaneum. And the other game that intrigues me, fellas, is Potosi at where are they at?
DeSoto.
Yeah, DeSoto. And you've got a 4-3 team versus a 3-4 team in Potosi. Potosi down a little bit this year. Traditionally, Potosi's been known for having an excellent defense, but they lost a very close game by 1 point to St. John this year. They lost to Park Hills, and I'm just thinking that at home at DeSoto stands a very good chance of knocking off Potosi in this game.
Well, I think DeSoto, as long as they don't have any kind of hangover from this week, because obviously, this game, they're still basking in, the glow of this victory over Hillsborough. If they can turn the page and focus, I think they got a very good shot.
Excellent.
Well, there you have it. There you are. It was a quick one this week, and that's okay. But Scott, thanks for being with us, and we'll
Thanks for the invite.
Hey, we'll see where we're going to put you for this weekend here, because now I might send you to some crazy matchup.
You're going to Kansas City. We don't even have a game there.
Yeah, there you go. Does it for Upon Further Review. Don't forget to check out where we have all of our games on Livestream STL.tv and on our Roku app there. Search Livestream STL in the Roku store. You can just search for Livestream STL. Should be able to pull that up, download it, and you'll be able to watch all of our games for free. For all of us here at Upon Further Review, Scotty Latta, Jeff Whitener, Ray Halbrook, all of us here, thanks for watching today's version of Upon Further Review.
Be good to one another.
Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.